Welcome to the Stogie Geek Show, episode 85. This episode is sponsored by Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop. Located here in Rhode Island, they have an outstanding selection of premium handmade cigars. This past week, they just had an event with Mr. Casey Johnson of L'Atelier. You can find them on the web at mrjhavana.com. And by the Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners enjoy a $5 off coupon available on our website by clicking the HCC logo. And by Debonair Cigars. Visit stogiegeeks.com/debonair for a list of retailers who carry Debonair cigars. Buy some today and get a little more debonair. And by Ocean State Cigars. Try the J Grotto Series cigar, including the Connecticut Shade Silk and the limited edition J Grotto Reserva lines. Visit on the web at oceanstatecigars.com for a full list of retailers near you. And now, fire up your cigars, because we're here live in the Stogie Geek studio. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian, joined by Mr. Mark Jr. sitting next to me.
What's up, guys?
Mr. Stogie Santa is in the house.
Good evening, everybody.
And on the lines via Skype, Mr. Will Cooper.
Greetings, everybody.
Coming to you live from the hotel room that you can actually smoke in. Certainly no hotel rooms around here allow that such thing.
I want to chalk it up to the city of West Palm Beach, Florida, where I'm at an undisclosed hotel location, but chalk it up for continuing this.
It's great. It's great. Let's see. So, Will, I want you to now introduce the Stogie of the Week.
Yeah.
Which I was digging. I was digging through the humidor here, trying to find the correct cigar for the week. I hope I found it. It's from Battleground Cigars.
From Battleground Cigars.
Okay, good. I got the right one.
This is called. This is. And I thought this was an interesting cigar story for a couple of reasons. Actually, for three reasons. One, it's a broadleaf cigar, and I really like broadleaf, and it looked very yummy. But there's a couple of other connections here. There's a Civil War theme, which kind of always interested in history. I'm kind of always looking for an angle there. And then there were some ties to New England, where, you know, the majority of the Stogie Geeks team is located. So all things put together, I was contacted by someone by the name of Michael Nemeth on a cigar which is called the Widowmaker's Son. And the Widowmaker's Son it's a cigar that I would say is a tribute to Louis Armstead, who was a Confederate general during the Civil War. And just a little thing on Battleground Cigars, if you haven't seen them, they're a cigar that has, they have a line of cigars that has a Civil War theme. So this cigar, the Widowmaker's Son, was a tribute to General Louis Armstead, but it was actually it was actually conceived by a group of Masons up in the Connecticut area. So these Masons got together with a place called Connecticut Valley Tobacconists, and Armstead, there was a lot of stories on when he died, if he was given a Masonic sign of distress or whatever. So there's a lot of rumors about that, and I think that's why the cigar had a tribute to his name. But the one thing they do know is that when he died, he was referred to as the widow's son. So that's kind of how they got the name, the Widowmaker's Son here. What we do know about the blend is it's a Connecticut broadleaf, and it's made in the Dominican Republic. So they haven't disclosed too much else about the blend. I'm smoking it already, and I could definitely pick up a lot of Dominican notes under this broadleaf. And I'm smoking a cigar size, which is a 5x52 called the Widowmaker. I think you guys may have either torpedoes or that 5x52.
I have the 5x52.
Okay, you have the 5x52?
I have the torpedo.
Yep, that's a 6 1/4 by 50.
I find it to be very very smooth. I didn't get a lot of spice or pepper right up off the bat
No.
when I lit it up. How about you guys?
Same thing.
I got a little bit of a cold too, so I was kind of
No spice whatsoever.
yeah.
You can taste that broadleaf though.
Yeah, I mean
it's very
that was
sweet.
the first thing that when I smoked it, I'm like, I like broadleaf. You really get the wrapper right off of this. But I'm getting a little bit of that grassy hay mixed in with that broadleaf.
Yep.
Yep. That's why I think there's Dominican in here.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Next week, I wanted to say, make sure you tune into the show. We've got Andre Farkas of Viaje Cigars next week. That's next Thursday, 9 p.m. That interview will start. So right off the bat with Stogie Geeks, next week we've got a great guest coming on as always. So
Oh yeah.
Super duper.
And I smoked one of his cigars. It was the one Stogie Santa that you had given me, this little tiny...
The little shorts.
The little
Oh,
shorts?
oh, aren't
Is
they
that what they're
good?
called?
Yeah.
Viaje shorts?
Yeah.
They came in big cabs of 50?
Yeah.
They're
Wow, what
exclusivo blend.
Yeah.
Oh, what a wonderful, crisp flavor. Almost kind of had like an herbal component to it. That could be because I was smoking in a lounge which had these air fresheners going, but...
Oh, it's funny. I had a gentleman come in and tell me the same thing because I was gagged out of my mind. I couldn't believe. I meant to call you today, but I got busy.
Yeah. It was terrible. Cigar smoking facilities should not be equipped with air fresheners.
Just like restaurants.
Yeah.
Like you don't put scented candles.
No,
Amen.
it's bad. But that cigar was awesome. I almost want to redo it because I was so tainted. I might have a couple kicking around in my humidor as well. But those were, what was those, a limited release Stogie Santa?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're a small
couple years
petite
ago.
Corona.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember the wrapper binder filler or anything?
No,
like that?
It's an exclusivo blend, so
Yeah.
it's got the Criollo wrapper
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Nicaraguan binder
Yeah,
and filler. Yeah.
it had that nice crisp flavor to it. That it was similar. That crispness
The
is
strength
similar.
is toned down quite a bit on it. since
Toned
the
down
age.
quite a
Yeah.
bit. Yep. And almost like the Platino regular line has that kind of crisp flavor to it. This was similar to that, but had a lot more flavor. I
think
thought.
that's
I
his-
completely agree with you on the crispness of this blend. I think it's almost got like a citrus
Yeah,
crispness.
more.
to
Yeah,
it.
I get that citrus than I do what you were saying, the herbal.
March of 2011, Paul. There was 100 boxes of 50 that came out.
Wow, I didn't know they were that
was a
limited.
rough-
That was like
It
his
was a rough cigar when it
offshoot.
came out.
That was an offshoot to the Petite Cazadoras with Pete.
Wow, it's a totally different cigar than that.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying that's. At the
It's
same
that
time.
size.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Relax. I gotta put a condom on.
Oh, that's it.
Neat.
Oh.
Neat. Things
No,
got a
no
little
problem.
weird in
Makeup. Hey.
But yeah, no, well, you turned me on to this.
Yeah.
what,
Oh, I
a
know.
little while
I
ago?
really. Yeah.
And me and you learned.
We hammered
through
those. Well, we went through a
packs.
box of those easy.
I think I've reviewed it on the show a couple times. Let me pull that up.
I get to try and get some more of those. Alrighty, Will, back to you. What you been smoking?
All right. Well, I figured I'd start things off with the Debonair Seguida. We smoked it last week on the show, and there's an in-depth review today up on Cigar Coop on it. But I thought it would be good kind of to recap a little bit of that because maybe some folks missed the show last week. But the Debonair Seguida is from our sponsor, Debonair Cigars.
Who is sponsoring this
And,
segment,
it's
which
the-
you can find a full list of retailers at stogiegeeks.com/debonair. Thanks for that.
Yep.
Keep going.
We got the guy in the house today. Go ahead.
But I tell you what, since we've had Phil on the show, we're getting a lot of people asking me questions about the cigar, and this is a really good cigar, especially if you like those Petite Lanceros. And I tell folks if you smoke things like the Goldie number 2, this is a Petite Lancero that I'd put up against any of them out on the market right now. It's a box-worthy cigar. Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, Dominican binder, filler is Dominican and Nicaraguan, and the name Seguida is Latin for arrow, Phil said, and basically it was meant to be an entry price point. So folks want to try Debonair, they have it at an affordable price point, and they can kind of just take a sampling of it, and it directs them to the rest of the line. I really like this cigar. This is the cigar that I started out with Debonair, and I just think, it starts off with a lot of wood, natural tobacco, and pepper, and then the flavors just kind of really open up on this thing. I get the smoky meat flavor on this thing, and I know on some of the other sizes it's more prevalent, but I get a lot of that smoky meat flavor even on this one. A lot of complexity. There's a subtle sweetness with this thing. It's a medium to full cigar, I would say. It becomes full. The flavors get pretty robust towards the end.
Absolutely.
Burn is unbelievable. I wish I could have had my video up last week. You would have saw the way this finger burned on me. But it's a box-worthy cigar. And I just wanted to kind of recap it because I just really enjoyed that smoke last week. On the
I
show.
get the meaty flavor more in the middle of that smoke.
See,
Whereas some of the larger sizes, I get it the whole way through.
See, I get a meaty, but I get the au jus sauce, like that prime rib, in that belly, the Toro, the Solomon. It's just so prevalent. It's unbelievable. And when we were doing the blending on the Maduro, it just explodes with flavor. But it's in the Seguida, but not as much. And that's what
I agree with that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, each and every one of us, I told us, it's amazing. They're all different. They have their own different nuances.
There's very few.
True.
There's very few blenders out there who can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And Debonair is absolutely one of those lines. Another line that comes to mind is what Dion did with the original Documents line.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mark Jr.?
I'm going to start the opposite way as well. I smoked Tazwahe Mission pipe exclusive called CQ1.
I want to see it. Okay.
It's a 5 3/4 by 52 box press Bellicoso. It's very similar to the Padron Torpedo in terms of size.
Mm-hmm.
Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler. It's a $10 smoke, and they were really limited. There was 500 boxes of 10.
Right, and you
I
had to
think.
be there to get them.
Yeah, and you could only get them from Mission, right?
Right.
So I thought the cigar had like a really beautiful chocolate brown wrapper that was a little rustic, actually. It had a closed foot that you can see on mine started to chip away a little bit, but no big deal.
Yeah.
I really like what Pete does with the Sumatra. When I think of Pete Johnson, I always think of his broadleaf work first, right? But I think this Sumatra stuff is coming along really well for him.
I agree.
A listener actually, Dave Monroe, gave it to me when we were at the Casey Johnson event, so I was able to fire it up this week. It had a nice spice and pepper, I thought. Definitely not overwhelming. It had a sweetness that was like a dried fruit sweetness. I put raisins in here, but it's probably the closest thing I could think of. It had some earth and barnyard as well. I would recommend getting a 10-count box of these if you can. I don't know if they're still around or not. I haven't even looked. I doubt they are. But that's a box-worthy smoke, in my opinion. A note on what I drank with it as well, which was quite good. I'm drinking again today. It's
which is pairing very well with this particular cigar also.
Yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Oh,
It's,
God, it's bringing out
a
sweetnesses.
merchant bottling done by Gordon and McPhail's of Glen Ross. It's a 30-year-old
Nice young
whiskey.
girl.
Yeah. It was finished
That's young for
heavily in
me.
a sherry cask, as you can see. The color
Oh,
on this
yeah.
thing is outrageous.
We love those Gordon and McPhail merchant bottlings. I think
Oh,
we've had a couple different ones in the past.
We have
They've
some
been-
issues with that, don't we?
Duncan Taylor's a good one, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
But,
a problem with those. We too.
We got
We're
a problem.
living large here. We
Yeah.
got a 28-year Cameron Bridge, and we got a 25-year Highland Park here, too. So, I don't know. It's still geeks. We like to, live life.
Very debonair.
Oh,
That's what we're
that's it.
saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy.
And funny guy.
So, Mr. Stogie Santa,
Yeah.
what you been smoking?
Oh, I've been doing a lot of private tastings on blends and whatnot, so I only got to smoke a couple of other cigars, but one of them it caught me totally by surprise. My rep came in, and it's a Rocky Patel, the Royale. The wrapper on this in Ecuadorian Sumatra. The binder is a Connecticut Shade in broadleaf. The filler's a Nika he said it was from their own farms in Esteli and Condega. So that's something interesting, his own farms. The size they have in this particular blend is a Robusto, which I was smoking, a 5 by 5.5 by 52. They have a Toro and a Colosso, and they also coming out with a Corona coupe.
Oh, is that breaking news?
Yeah, well, that's what he told me. He said that's the best one that we have. the pre-draw off this, I found had nice sweetness and a coffee flavor to it. And the wrapper on it was again. I'm reading. I did mine, and I want to see if you did this, Coop, because you said it, and it's almost spot on. Kind of scary. The first third of this, I got like you did, Coop. I got the nice citrus off this, a pepper and a coffee flavor in it. But then about 2 inches into the cigar, the sweetness from both the Sumatra and the Connecticut broadleaf on the binder, that was something unique. It was really, really. I tell you, I could differentiate between the both of them. It was something really neat about that. I enjoyed that. That's something that I haven't found in many cigars. And then on second, third,
Which
the earthy.
size did you smoke again?
The Robusto.
Okay.
Yep. And then second, third, the earthiness on this, with the sweetness took over from the primary flavors, and then the spice was in the back half. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. The spice wasn't overdone with this particular cigar. The last part of this, the finish on this, I really enjoyed. Creamy, and coffee flavored. I really enjoyed it. It was pretty good. It was really good. The smoothness on this was very good. The strength, medium, maybe medium plus. The complexity was average, nothing great. The draw and construction was spot on, and I'll tell you what, the finish, I won't say that. The finish on this was very good. I rate this a box split all day long.
You know, we're pretty much right on the money with that. I think that's what I rated it on when I talked about it on the show. This was, you know what, Rocky gets criticized sometimes.
Yeah. Oh.
This was really one that flew under the radar last year for him.
Right.
But do you think people's expectations were lower of those that aren't Rocky fans?
Well, what I think. I'm going to go back. I'll answer that question in a minute. But I go back to what Coop was saying. Two things. I was talking to Max, and they also have a factory in Nicaragua where they do the 15th anniversary and whatnot. What's coming out of there has been a little bit more of a, I don't know if I can even say the word boutique Rocky, but a smaller runs. And it's just this particular cigar to me, I wish they did two things. I wish they didn't try to make it look like a vintage. I think it discredits the cigar because some people who have that misconceptions of the 1992 liking it or not liking it are going to see that cigar and draw its own conclusion. And I do.
I look at that cigar and I'm like, oh, that's got to be a blend of, like, didn't he have one that was a blend of the 1992 vintages?
Right.
That's
you had a
Sumatra,
one, right? And
but this one's a totally different blend.
Oh,
from
yeah.
anything else.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm telling you, I was taking back. I brought the product in. I think this is something that, like Coop was saying, Rocky's been hammering on different things, and rightfully so. That's not for me to pass that judgment. I'm just passing on judgment what he did today on this particular smoke, which I think is a box split all day long. And like I said, didn't change up a lot, but the finish, it was one of the best finishes I had on a Rocky cigar since when he first released the what was the
Old World?
The Old World, the original Old World. That was my only two cigars of Rocky that really stood out for me.
I think we actually went 2 whole episodes without talking about that cigar, so I think that's a new record for us.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Now, Stogie Santa, you said that you're bringing them in. You mean bringing them to
I'm sorry,
Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop,
right,
where you can call and place your order at 401-822-0536.
Oh, wow.
You like that. And you guys are having an event, Cigar Night, which will be held on Monday, March 3rd, and will feature Perdomo cigars.
Yep, we're going to do the 20th anniversary. We're going to be having Roy Kirby come down, and we're going to hook up maybe with some nice Scotch tasting also.
Tickets are on sale, and the event is held at Milzoni's, which is just down the street from our studio and the shop.
Melanzi's.
Melanzi's. I always say that wrong.
Yeah.
Again, you can call 401-822-0536 and get. Now, how much are tickets, and when does that include?
Very expensive. $20.
$20, and that includes dinner and a cigar?
Two cigars, appetizers, and a cash bar.
Gotcha.
And that's going to be
$20. That's a great
and a Scotch sampling also. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
the old
pretty
Putney, the Navigator. That's what we're working on.
Nice. So make sure you check that out.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
I smoked a Bolivar Royal Corona. This was given to us by our good friend Dave, who was actually next door. I told him to come by. We'll see if he dares to do so. This was good. It wasn't great. It seemed a little unbalanced. Not horrible construction, but not great. I much prefer in the Bolivar line the Bellicoso Finos,
call.
the Gold Medal, or the Petite Coronas, to just trying to show you where I rank the Royal Corona. And it wasn't a horrible cigar, right? It just
didn't represent that blend
no,
at all.
Right.
I agree
And
100%.
people have told me this because you can find boxes of this cigar relatively inexpensively online, and other people have told me, Paul, go with the Bellicoso Finos, pay more, you'll be much happier, and I did, and I love my Bellicoso Finos, so I'm glad that I listened. And Dave, and he said that too. He's like, I said, I've never had one. I really want to try one. He's like, I'm telling you, it's not the greatest one in their line, but you should try it. So there's the assessment on it. It turns out that the hype I heard about this cigar is all true. So I rated it as a 2.5. Try one just to see how it compares to the rest of the line. Who knows? Maybe you'll like it better than I did.
There you go.
Mr. Will Cooper, back to you.
I smoked a cigar. A lot of our friends on Cigar Federation might have heard of it, called The Collective. It's a cigar made by Ezra Zion that's going to be basically a retail exclusive to Cigar Federation. They were kind enough to ask me to do one of the first reviews on it, and I was greatly appreciative of that. This is a very interesting blend, and it's for the cigar geek, I would say, just looking at the blend. It's got a San Andreas Cafe Claro wrapper, so it's they're saying that this is a wrapper that's never been used on a cigar before. If you look at it, it doesn't look like your run-of-the-mill San Andreas wrapper. It's lighter. It may be shade grown. They wouldn't talk more about it. It's got a double Nicaraguan binder of Criollo and Corojo, and it's got Nicaraguan filler with Medio Tiempo, which is that high priming tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little about that last week. It comes in one size, a 6 1/4 by 52 Prensado box press. Overall, I thought it was a good cigar. It definitely, that Medio Tiempo is going to kick up the strengths, particularly in the second half. The cigar is going to start off with a lot of notes of red pepper, sweet cedar, earth, and a little chocolate. But what's going to happen is it's going to turn into a tea note. It's got a very prevalent tea flavor to this cigar with a little underlying sweetness. Now, the cigar was good. I said to Ezra Zion, and I actually said this to them point blank, I would have waited about a month to release that cigar. Not that it was a bad cigar, it was fine. But I think in about a month, that cigar with a month of age is going to be a really, really good cigar for them. Where we may be talking about this as one of their best cigars. I didn't rate it. I'd say right now it's a box. A fiver. Probably could go to a box split at some point. But it's a good cigar. It was very different, and like I said, if you like a lot of tea notes, particularly if you're an Illusione smoker, it's something you may want to check out.
Mm-hmm. Mark Jr.?
I had a Tatuaje La Esprit de Verite 2009 vintage. In layman terms, it's the Robusto La Verite from 2009. I haven't had one of these in a while because I've kind of been drawn towards the Churchills, which Paul has on his list. Mm-hmm. This one's a 5.5 by 50. It has a slightly different blend of tobaccos in it. The same three types, but the ratios are different between the Robustos and the Churchills. Mm-hmm. This one's 50% Habano, 40% Criollo 98, and 10% Pelo de Oro, all of which comes from a single farm in Nicaragua, all grown in 2009, aged, and then they were released. This one went for about $13.50. So they're not a cheap cigar. I'm a huge fan of the Churchills and what they've turned into. Mm-hmm. But this Robusto, Stogie Santa actually, as you can see him in the background of my picture there, kind of
just working my
reminded
ass
me
off.
to check it out. Yeah,
You look like you're working hard in that picture.
Yeah.
Stogie
yeah.
Santa.
Look at that thought process.
Look at him. He's killing it back there.
Yeah.
I thought this was a really good cigar, actually. One thing I like about this that I didn't really the Churchill never did in the beginning is it changes quite a bit. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it's like a spicy, woody.
Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
It's like spicy and woody. It's peppery.
Sorry, Mark Jr. I didn't give everyone a heads up. There's a way in the studio where the sound engineer can talk into our headphones. Now the recording and the live stream can't hear that, but it sounds like there's voices in your head. That's just That's just Chris, our
It
audiovisual
didn't sound
engineer.
like the normal voices in my head.
It can kind of throw you off. So,
And then after about 2 inches, it really turned into this like super creamy profile. I thought it was a really good cigar, nicely balanced. The changes kept my interest. I still think I prefer the Churchill, but you know what? This Robusto is definitely worth a box split if you can still find them around, which I don't think they're super rare at this point.
And the whole thing is, it was funny how we talked about in the beginning. Remember we talked how the Robusto was your term, the belt on the ball in the beginning, and how much that Churchill has morphed into a really nice cigar.
I like the Churchill. I gave it a rating of a 5. I thought it was a great smoke with nice crisp flavors, very subtle undertones of sweetness, a great blend. The balance of strength and body was perfect on it. That's what I really liked about this cigar. I was kind of hoping a little more in the flavor department, which is why it got the 5 rating, but I thought it was a solid offering. At that price point, I don't know if I'd go buy in a box. That's just me.
Yeah, but see, the whole thing,
I
that price.
I know you really like this one.
I got a box. But see, that pricing can be misleading. It's a tier pricing.
That's right. If you
When
got
it's
in
slotted
early,
is
if
what
you
it
got
would
in
be.
early.
Yeah, and now if you bought in at the 2008, then the 2009 was a little bit cheaper for you. If you just did the 2009, you could see those cigars more. So if you're going into a B&M and you're seeing these at $16 to $17, they never got into the 2008. So just a little word for the wise.
Well,
besides your taxes, I mean, it could be more expensive.
They sold them in cabs of 50 early too, and then they went down to they were 25, right?
No,
25.
25.
And then they
went
switched
not
it to
50,
10-count
right? I'm
boxes,
thinking of another one. Yeah.
But yeah, no,
it's
an
I
interesting thing. It's really to mirror its state wine market. Really is.
I find them both box worthy because of the amount of cigars that's in there. So that's how I feel for both of them. This is really unique. I think he did that. I think there's some leaf placement scenarios with those too that changes up the flavors. Besides that's my humble opinion. Besides, it's just the blend. They're both.
It was an interesting project. I'm
I think it's a great. I know he's not.
Sounds like those 2010s are never going to make it out.
No.
So.
It's a must try.
Agreed.
Oh, absolutely,
Agreed.
that
For sure.
Now, Coop, have you tried either one of those?
Yeah, I have. I like the 2009s better. Definitely, I'm more in line with the Churchill. You know, the 2008s were an enigma with me with that cigar, especially the Robusto. I don't know what went wrong with. Not that it was a bad cigar. I've had some issues construction-wise with that 2008. Maybe it was bad luck, but the 2009s just seem to be a lot better.
The construction, it really got frustrating. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I expect, and again, my expectations for Pete are very high.
And
So
a lot of
not
people,
that it was a piece of junk, but my expectations for Pete are just in the stratosphere.
and a lot of people, I don't think, got the concept of what he was doing with that cigar.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
They lost it. They just had no idea, and a lot of work that he put into that cigar.
He really did.
I lost track of who's going next, so I'm going to go next with
No,
my
go ahead.
Arturo Fuente Hemingway Classic. This is a Cameroon wrap cigar, and I loved smoking this first thing in the morning. Now, this one's a few years old. I want to say this came from a Fuente holiday sampler that came from 2010, maybe. And age was very, very kind to the cigar. Very smooth, wonderful sweetness that comes off this Cameroon wrapper. It might be the perfect morning smoke for me. It was a great size, awesome construction. And the great part is you can find these cigars just about anywhere for the price point of Stogie Santa.
Eight and a quarter.
8 1/4. I mean, it's a good size smoke. It's, I don't know. I don't have the size in front of me, but it's the Hemingway Classic size. And it's, their standard size in that Hemingway line. This, of course, comes in all the different wrappers. This one was the traditional Cameroon wrapper, right? Which is on Cameroon wrapper, which is on the Hemingway line. So
Very
box worthy for me. I mean,
all day long.
All day long, because you can put these away for a long time, and they're going to change nicely over time. And even 4 years into it, right, they're smoking awesome. It has not lost a ton off of it. So
I completely agree. I think the natural Hemingways get overlooked a lot because the Maduros are, limited and they're sort of
They're a great everyday smoke.
Yeah.
yeah, and at first, and then as they age, they really turn into something very special. So,
I agree.
Will, back to you.
So I smoked the new Benji Homage 62. and that was the cigar that was. I'd say it's a commemorative cigar to Benji Menendez, who's just retired from the cigar industry after 60 plus years. And I think it's 62 is the number, maybe off or rounded up a bit. There's actually I'm actually in the Stogie feed, I'm going to put a link. There's a really good write-up by the guys at A Cigar Smokers Journal who really chronicle Benji's life real well. He spent his entire life in the premium cigar industry, just about. So all those years, he was, from Cuba to the Canary Islands. So there's a pretty interesting write-up, but I don't know how much involvement he had with this blend. Although it's, the cigar has a Honduran Alancho San Agustin wrapper, which is from that Osa region of Honduras where they used for one of the CAO blends, a Connecticut broadleaf binder, and a 3-country filler of Dominican, Mexican, and Honduran. I smoked the Robusto Gordo, which is a 5.5 by 52. Packaging in general's fashion, they always got to do something with packaging. They wrap this thing with tissue paper and then put the cigar band also around the tissue paper, which looks nice, but it's a pain in the ass to get that tissue paper off, let me tell you, without ripping it. And it's a shame because it's actually a nice presentation. But that being said, the cigar, I thought it was a tale of two cigars. I thought it started out average, and then I thought it got real good in the second half. Started out with some notes of oak, natural tobacco, a little bit of tangy sweetness to it. Actually, more tangy sweetness to it. But in the second half, I thought the notes of coffee and earth just kind of really came into the picture, and the tangy sweetness dialed back into more of a smoother, a little more of like an orange sweetness. It's a medium strength, medium bodied cigar. Construction was excellent. In the end, I rated it a box split. If it smoked the whole way in the second half, it would have been box worthy all the way. But $9 price point wasn't bad, and curious to see if time kind of smooths out the first half a bit.
Stogie Santa, what else you been smoking?
I've been doing all private blends this week, so I've been tied up with that. I can't really mention what I've been doing.
Sure.
So.
I smoked that EP Carrillo Inch, the regular line. This is the short one, the Robusto-ish size cigar, but in the inch ring gauge. I rated it a try one. It really just, the flavors didn't pop for me. It was a good cigar.
Excuse me, I got which one was that ball? I'm sorry.
It's the EP Carrillo Inch. It's got a natural wrapper on it. It's the inch ring gauge, but it's a 5.5 or 5 inch long stick, and it was just okay for me. I try and get into the 60 ring, and the inch comes really close, but this particular wrapper in this size. I wanted to smoke it to kind of see what his regular line was more about, and then I want to go and I want to smoke the ones I just bought from Mr. J. Savannah that came in, the inch short runs that just came in, and I want to kind of compare the two. So hopefully I'll get a chance to smoke that for next week's
The
show.
short runs are good.
Oh yeah, that's totally two different.
So those
cigars.
inch short runs are good, huh?
Yeah, they are getting great feedback off that.
Good.
I just picked one up today, so I think I'll have a chance to talk about that next week as well.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I don't mean to interrupt, gentlemen. Can we just go around the table and just talk about this particular cigar?
Yes,
going to my last third. So start off at you, Coop, since you're the one that has brought this to our attention, please.
I'm still in the first third because I've just been procrastinating, but it's lost a little bit of the Connecticut broadleaf sweetness, and now I'm getting a little more of that grassy note in here. Still not a lot of spice at this point, but maybe a touch of herbal spice on the background right now. So far, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then to me, this is a fiver. I think it's the broadleaf wrapper's good. A lot more sweetness off the first third than as I got into the middle. The flavors got a little lost for me. It's still good, but doesn't have I'm looking for the component that really kind of keeps my attention in the middle part of the cigar, and it's just not there for me yet.
I agree. The middle's kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah.
It started out pretty nice, though, I thought.
It was decent. Like the grassy notes and the hay was really what I'm getting mostly on this. It's hot. It's for a Connecticut broadleaf. It fizzles out in the last third here. But okay.
Mark Jr., back to you.
Yeah, I smoked a cigar that was given to me by KC. It's a Tatuaje Black Robusto. This will be packaged in 3-packs and given out at events only at various Tatuaje events throughout the year. I didn't get much information from KC, but I'm assuming it's the wrapper is the the normal Criollo 98, and the Nicaraguan binder and filler that these Robustos or the Black Label always has been. This is going back to the original Tatuaje packaging in terms of the label and stuff like that. They released this size earlier in 2009. So it's not the first time a Robusto's been out. I think there was also a Robusto in the in a CRA pack a couple years ago too.
They're going back some, yeah. I'll find out exactly what the alcohol case, yeah.
The wrapper gave off a nice barnyard aroma. The dry jaw had some real nice natural sweet tobacco flavors. The first third had some black pepper earth, and that sweetness was there in that first third. As the cigar progressed, the pepper went into the background and the sweetness really came forward on the cigar. I thought it was a really nice smoke. It was nice and interesting. I love this black blend. I think it's very good, and this Robusto size certainly didn't disappoint. I don't think it's on the Corona Gorda level, right?
No. Well, how would you compare it to the black to the Petite Lancero?
I think it's right on par with that. Yeah. Which I think is a box-worthy cigar as well. I think the cigar is worth going to a Pete event or a Casey event, and just so you could try it out. I think that's worth the price of admission. What's that?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could still get those at events. That's good to know.
Well,
along with the Robustos, he's doing the same thing on his what is it? Help me out. The one
SS.
Thank you.
The Lat SS.
Yep, the Lat SS. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, Casey pulled this out. Maybe he was just, maybe it's just one floating around from the past, but.
Oh, he did mention that.
Yeah, so fun.
Now the Black Label Corona Gorda, when is that coming out? People in the chat want to know.
Okay.
Mid-March, right?
Yes, I would look more at mid-March. We're getting 40 jars in, so if we got a pretty good list going on, but we're gonna.
That means between the three of us at this table, there's like 5 available to the public.
It's true.
Yeah.
But give me a call at the shop if you want to get on that list. Seriously, give me a call at the shop, and I'll put you on that list because it's going to be a first come, first serve. 2, okay.
Put me down for 2.
Coop, all right. There's no limit. They'll be just like when we got the ones without the pack, without the jar. Excuse me. They lasted 1 day.
How many of those did you get? 10, right?
15.
It lasted 15. A few hours.
Hours, right? That's true.
You can get a 5-pack.
Yeah. No, that's just going to be the hot thing for the. Just in time. Maybe by then it will be 50 degrees up here. Hopefully.
Do you know the price point for a jar, Stogie Santa?
I don't know. That hasn't been released. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit more than what we did on we again, tax wise. I can't. I want to throw that out there. We were doing
They're $10 a piece, right?
Just about $10. $10 a piece.
Yeah,
I think you walked out.
Is there 18 in a jar?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, probably $1.80, $1.90, something like that.
Yeah.
Plus tax.
Maybe even a little more because of the jar,
Yeah.
So you could be looking at probably maybe.
Probably around 200. Yeah. Budget 200 if you're planning on getting a jar.
And I'm telling you, budget it, and please, I can't say it enough. We're not the only place that's going to have them, but if you want them right away.
I smoked a La Palina, the Goldie. This is the one with the pigtail fan.
Number 5.
Yeah. This is a much improved smoke for me. This probably sat for, this came out about a year ago, maybe?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean much
about
improved?
About a
year ago.
Yeah.
Since I smoked them last time. This one sat in my humidor for about a year. I thought it got better.
I thought it was really good right out of the box.
I thought so, too. I think it's even better now. Have you smoked one recently?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. I think the flavors of nuts and caramel, very, very smooth. It's the strength meter kind of dropped down a notch on it. Mm-hmm. So smoking it first thing in the morning with coffee is a sheer pleasure. And these were like $18 a stick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm saying split a box with a friend, especially at that price point.
There's only 10 in the box, so it's no big deal.
Yeah, to treat yourself in the morning to smoke one of these, though, it's really, really good. Very flavorful.
They're very good.
That's my favorite thing I've had from them.
Have you had the Petite
so
Lancero?
No, I have not.
I have not.
That is a Oasis stick. That was my cigar of the year a couple years ago.
Really?
La
Palina Petite Lancero?
The Goldie number 2, which was the size they came out with in 2012. Now, the rumor is that this year's Goldie's going to be a regular Lancero, but that's buzz. I haven't gotten an official confirmation, but that's
So is the Goldie
supposedly
a yearly release from them?
It's a limited production release
right.
that's made out of El Titan de Bronze. So yeah, they do pretty much a single production run, and then they split the shipments into 2 for the year. So if you're going to get Goldie, you want to get it. You know, if you have a chance to order it, basically you order it.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a limited run. But yeah, I think you guys, knowing you guys, you really like that number 2.
See what I can do.
I'm looking at pictures
And
of
they're
the number
scarce.
2.
Where can you get
And they're
those?
scarce.
I'll look into that.
Can you still get them?
I'll find out. I'll get my hands on some.
Will, what else you been smoking?
I actually smoked the return of the Vega Fina Sumum 2010. So quietly, Altadas announced not announced, but they started telling retailers about a month ago. They're bringing back the Vega Fina Sumum blend from 2010, and they're bringing it back this time not just in a Robusto, but in 3 sizes. And I smoked the Toro, which is a 6x52. I know that the original Vega Fina Sumum in the Robusto got a lot of attention. A lot of people really liked that release, including myself. It had an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Connecticut broadleaf binder, and 3 country filler of Nicaraguan, Peruvian, and Dominican Republic. The Toro doesn't disappoint me. It's going to have a very similar profile to the Robusto. It's got that lemon sweetness, which I thought was really something that kind of came out with that Robusto. Notes of wood, natural tobacco, and pepper. This one had a little more strength, I thought, than when I smoked the Robusto a couple years ago. But it may be because it was a newer smoke. I think if folks like the Sumum Robusto from a couple years ago, which that Robusto's also coming back along with a 6x60, they'll like this Toro. So I had it as a box split. This is a really nice release by Altadas, and I'm glad they brought this back. And it seemed like they kept the consistency, which is good.
That's a strange lemon sweetness. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I never thought of lemon being
sweet. I've talked to other
sweet.
people. I'm not the only one who's gotten that. It's almost like a lemongrass. Is the best way to put it.
Okay, anything else, gentlemen?
I did a Kentucky fire cured Robusto. This is from Drew Estate. I rated this a try one. You know, it was really interesting for me. I had to try it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
you got to.
My one word for the cigar
Absolutely.
is Worcestershire sauce. And when I sniffed the wrapper and I sniffed the foot, it was a heavy Worcestershire sauce kind of flavor I got. Really pungent, very strong smelling. However, what was interesting for me is that when you smoke it, it doesn't present those bold flavors at all. No. It's a very mild, medium-bodied smoke, and those flavors aren't very strong when you smoke it. Now, in the background, kind of in the back nine, as Stogie Santa says, you get that Worcestershire sauce, which is very unique and not one that I was enjoying as far as a flavor that I got in the back nine. So I'm saying try one. I think it's interesting. I think for the majority of probably our listeners, this being in your regular smoking rotation, right?
I think it'd be like, if you like barbecue, you may like
if you like that flavor, you may like that cigar, but it's so different from all the cigars that you smoke.
Absolutely.
You got to try one, but like I said, I don't know if it'll end up in the regular smoking rotation.
No. Right.
So
thinking outside the box.
The other one, real quick, that I smoked was a 1964 anniversary Torpedo. Just what wonderful flavor! I mean, this thing pours flavors like. Of all the cigars we smoke, I mean, this one really sticks out. This in the pyramid size, right from that 1964 series.
64.
There's something about the taper in that blend. Because after the pyramid, this is my second favorite size in the 1964 series. Great burn-drawn construction and just all about flavors from start to finish. Really, really enjoyed that. This is box-worthy for sure.
And on a closing note, the Monaca. There's one that a lot of people do not smoke, and I think that's if there's such thing that flies under the radar in a Padron, is the Monaca. I think that's a special blend.
Excellent. Anyone else have any of the smokes they want to talk about real quick?
I'll just mention. Go ahead.
I smoked a Viaje Platino Chiva, Paul. These are those ones that you and I split a year.
Yeah, this is
over a year.
The
ago.
regular Platino line from Viaje when they were regular production.
Exactly.
Right?
So these were like 2 years old when we bought them. This is not a blender cigar that's going to pull in, everyone's pretty familiar with it. But I mentioned it because this thing is aging extremely gracefully at this point. It's just tons and tons of like toasty, creamy wood, leather flavors in it that are just awesome. And it's really a shame that he stopped making this as a regular production cigar simply because it's so damn good. But on another note, my wife and I got some positive news this week.
Absolutely.
We're going to be having a boy. So
It's a boy.
It's a boy. It's a boy.
Cheers to
Cheers.
that.
Hey. A little stogie geek coming the wound.
I did the usual for me. I fired up a Cien Años Lancero for that.
How to do it?
These are. I think this is an Oasis cigar without this special meaning to me. But I bought these box of these cigars when my daughter was born, and I think I'm going to do the same thing again. And it's just a really awesome. I think this probably ranks up there as one of the best Lanceros ever. I actually smoked a Bellicoso of this today for the first time in a very long time, and yeah, the blend is really good, but this Lancero really takes the cake.
No,
I
that's
agree.
not. Come on, it's the what?
The bell of the ball.
Thank you.
It's the bell of the ball.
But this is a really truly epic cigar, and it's kind of taken on a little bit of sentimentality.
We almost need to do another like best of Lanceros, because I smoked the Forbidden X Lancero, a Lost City Lancero.
Oh boy, someone come in the store. Who bought the rest of those? I'll give you 3 guesses. Paul.
I did. I came in. I cleaned them all out.
I'll give you a couple guesses on who it was. I walked in and was pissed.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We're smoking them, baby.
Oh, they got like 2 years. They've been sitting in the humidor at Mr. J's for almost 2 years now, and I bought like the last 7. And I smoked one the other night.
$5 a
last
stick. You
night.
can't go wrong.
Yeah, a fantastic discount.
Yeah, right.
All right. Will, you got one more real quick.
One more. I smoked the Zeno Platinum Z-Class 654T, which is the 54 ring gauge Toro. Paul, you had smoked this a few weeks ago on episode 72, so I kind of gave it a smoke again, and I think you and I were really much in sync with this. We both had this as a box split. I got a lot of notes of grass, pepper, natural tobacco, some nut, but I kind of agree with you that what I liked about this is that the grass wasn't that overpowering grass in a Zeno Davidoff blend, and certainly the strength wasn't in your face either. It's a nice balanced cigar. That's a Zeno core line that I think is really kind of held. It's almost 3 years old now, and from the one I smoked, it was sitting, really smoking well. So
No, I agree. I really like that cigar
I have
too.
a couple aged
I like that cigar. It doesn't get the love, yeah.
I want to try. I should try one.
I
Definitely.
think I wouldn't say the novice. Make it quick. Is the price tag on Zeno scare people away?
No, I agree. It's a
it's
pricey
just-
cigar, but I tell you what, for the stogie geeks out there, right? It's something to try for
Oh, I
sure,
agree.
because
I
it's
agree.
something you probably wouldn't reach for normally. But I tell you what, you pay that higher price tag, try one, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's got a lot
core
going
line,
for it.
too.
Yeah.
It's not limited, so it's gonna be around. So if you see it, you may want to grab one, but if they'll be around for a while, so it's good.
Alrighty, with that, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We've got a couple of segments lined up for you next. We're going to do a segment on Puros. We're going to talk Puros, and then we're going to take the 300 and plus box-worthy rated cigars, and we're going to do kind of our tops of the box-rated cigars that's out there, because not everyone can store 300 cigars in their humidor. Well, maybe some can, but so we'll be right back.
I had a couple of different ones. There you go, Coop. Wind it up, baby.